Life has a way of convincing us that where we are is all there is. The circumstances you face right now can feel so overwhelming, so consuming, that you start to believe this is the limit, this is the ceiling, this is the farthest you will ever go. But let me tell you something with conviction. Your current season is not your final destination. What you see today is not the end of your story. The struggles you carry, the battles you fight, the weight you feel pressing down on your shoulders, these are temporary stops along the way, not the permanent address of your life. Too many people settle in a season of struggle and mistake it for their destiny. They unpack their bags in the wilderness, not realizing the wilderness is just a passageway to the promise. And because they settle, they stop dreaming, they stop expecting, they stop believing that more is possible. But God never designed you to stop where you are. He never called you to settle for survival. He called you to step into abundance, to walk into victory, to reach for a higher place that He has already prepared for you. Think about the seasons of life. Winter can be bitter, cold, and long, but winter is not forever. Spring always comes. Flowers bloom, trees awaken, the air shifts. Yet when you're in the dead of winter, it feels like spring will never arrive. You can't see the blossoms, you can't feel the warmth, you can't imagine change, and still, change is on the way. That's how life works. You may be in a winter season right now, but don't mistake winter for the end. It's simply a stage, and like every stage, it will pass. God is not finished with you. If He woke you up today, if He put breath in your lungs and strength in your body, it's proof that He still has work to do in you and through you. But here's the challenge. Many people allow their current season to define their entire existence. If they are struggling financially, they start to believe they'll never prosper. If they are lonely, they start to believe they'll never be loved. If they're battling sickness, they start to believe they'll never be whole again. If they've been rejected, they start to believe they'll never belong anywhere. But the truth is, your current condition does not dictate your ultimate conclusion. You may be down today, but you are not out. You may feel broken, but broken pieces can be put back together into something even stronger, even more beautiful than before. God can take what you thought was your ending and turn it into the beginning of something greater than you ever imagined. Think about people who made history. They were never defined by their lowest moments. They were shaped by how they moved through them. A setback is never the end. It's just the setup for a comeback. That's not just a clever phrase. It's the reality of how faith and perseverance work. You fall, you stumble, you fail, but those moments refine you, they don't define you. And if you keep moving, keep trusting, keep believing, you will see that what you thought was a dead end was only a detour leading you to something better. But here's the danger. When life gets hard, the temptation is to quit, to throw in the towel, to say, this is just how it's always going to be. That's when you have to remind yourself that what you see is temporary. The pain you feel, the emptiness you carry, the tears you cry, they will not last forever. They may last for a night, but joy is promised in the morning, and the morning always comes. If you can hold on just a little longer, if you can push through the season without giving up, you'll see light breaking through the darkness. You'll see doors opening that you thought were permanently closed. You'll see opportunities rising where you thought there was only emptiness. Let me ask you this. How many times in your life did you think something was over, only to realize later that it was actually preparing you for something new? How many times did you think the breakup was the end, but it cleared the way for a healthier relationship? How many times did you think the job loss was the end, but it positioned you for a greater career. How many times did you think the failure was the end, but it taught you lessons that became the foundation of your success? What felt final was never final. It was only a season, and seasons are necessary. You can't appreciate the harvest of autumn without the planting of spring and the pruning of summer. You can't grow without the winters of your life, because winters build strength. Winters teach endurance. Winters strip away the excess, so that when spring comes, you're ready to bloom. You may not like the season you're in, but don't curse it. It's working for you. It's building something in you. And if you hold on, you'll see that this season was never meant to be your final stop. It was meant to prepare you for the next level. But preparation is only effective if you refuse to quit. Some people stop in the middle of the storm. They set up camp in the valley instead of walking through it. They accept defeat when victory was just a little further ahead. Don't stop where you are. Don't confuse a pause with a conclusion. Just because things are hard right now doesn't mean they'll always be this way. Keep moving forward, even if it's slow, even if it's painful, even if it's one small step at a time. Forward is forward. Progress is progress, and every step you take is proof that your current season is not holding you captive. You're walking out of it. When you know that your current season is not your final destination, you start to carry yourself differently. You stop speaking words of defeat. You stop saying I can't, and you start saying I will. You stop focusing on the walls around you and start looking for the doors that God is about to open. You stop settling for less than you deserve and start expecting more. Because you know the best is still ahead. It changes your mindset. It changes your posture. It changes the way you fight your battles, because you're no longer fighting with despair. You're fighting with hope. And hope is powerful. Hope is what keeps you standing when everything else is falling apart. Hope is what lifts your head when all you want to do is bow it down. Hope is what whispers, keep going, when every other voice tells you to quit. Hope is not wishful thinking. Hope is the certainty that there's something more, even if you can't see it yet. It's the belief that God is working behind the scenes, aligning the right people, the right places, the right opportunities, so that at the appointed time you will step into something greater than where you are right now. Don't let your current season blind you to your future promise. Where you are is not where you'll always be. The hurt you feel will heal. The doors that are shut will open. The questions you have will be answered. The dry ground you're walking on will spring forth with life. But you have to keep going. You have to keep trusting. You have to keep believing that this is not the end. It's only the middle of your story, and the middle is always messy. But the ending is glorious if you don't give up before you get there. Your current season is just a chapter, not the entire book. Don't close the book too soon. Don't assume the author is finished writing. There are more pages ahead, filled with redemption, restoration, and renewal. And when you look back years from now, you'll realize that the season you thought would destroy you was the very season that developed you. The weight you carried became the strength you now walk in. The tears you shed became the waters that nourished your growth. The darkness you endured became the backdrop against which your light shines the brightest. So hold on. Stay strong, keep moving forward. Don't confuse where you are with where you're going. This season may be tough, but it is not final. Your story is still unfolding. Your journey is still advancing. Your destiny is still waiting. And when you finally step into the place that was always meant for you, you'll see clearly that every moment, every tear, every setback was just preparing you for a greater destination. Your current season is not your final destination. The best is yet to come. Would you like me to continue with the second keynote in the same expanded style? about 1,500 words? Or do you want to finish the full speech, one keynote at a time with pauses in between? Faith is not faith when everything is clear. Faith does not operate in certainty. Faith lives in the unknown. Too many people wait for every detail to be revealed, every step to be lit, every answer to be explained before they move forward. But that's not faith, that's comfort, and comfort never takes you to greatness. Comfort keeps you safe, but faith takes you higher. If you want to step into the more that God has for you, you have to be willing to walk where your eyes can't see, to trust what your hands can't hold, to believe in what your mind can't yet understand. Faith requires you to step into the unknown. Think about it. If everything were already mapped out, if every resource were already in your hand, if every door were already open, you wouldn't need faith. You'd simply be following a plan, but life isn't built like that. Life has curves, life has interruptions, life has storms that you never saw coming. And it is in those moments of uncertainty that faith proves itself. Faith is not the absence of fear. It's the courage to move forward in spite of fear. It's choosing to take the first step without knowing where the second will land. It's stepping out onto the waters when logic says you'll sink, but trust says you'll stand. So many people miss the fullness of their calling because they wait for the perfect conditions. They wait until they have the right job, the right money, the right support, the right clarity before they act. But faith doesn't wait for perfect, it moves in imperfect conditions. Faith says, even if I don't know how it will all work out, I'm going to take the step. And here's the beautiful truth. When you step into the unknown, God steps into the known. When you release control, He takes control. When you stop demanding certainty, He provides assurance. The unknown is frightening because it strips away control. And control is what we cling to when we're afraid. We want to see the whole staircase before we climb, but faith says, take the first step and the next one will appear. That's why faith is hard. That's why faith separates the few from the many. Because many want guarantees, but the few who are willing to trust without a guarantee are the ones who discover a greater destiny. Think about how seeds work. When you plant a seed, it goes underground where you cannot see it. The soil hides it, buries it, covers it. If you judged the situation by sight, you'd think nothing is happening. But in the unseen, roots are being formed. Growth is taking place. Something is breaking forth in the dark before it ever shows in the light. That's how faith operates. You may not see the evidence yet, but something is happening beneath the surface. The unknown is not empty. It is full of unseen activity preparing you for breakthrough. But stepping into the unknown will always challenge you. It will challenge your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. It will whisper to you, what if you fail? What if you fall? What if it doesn't work? And you will be tempted to shrink back into what is familiar. But hear this, the familiar is not always your friend. The familiar can keep you trapped. The familiar can keep you small. The familiar can keep you in cycles that God has been trying to pull you out of. Don't let the comfort of the familiar rob you of the reward of faith. Every great breakthrough begins with risk. Every great story begins with a step. Every great destiny begins with a decision to move beyond what is known and step into what is unknown. You may not know how the story will unfold, but faith is trusting that the author is good, that the pen is in his hands, and that he will not write an ending that will destroy you. The unknown is not your enemy, it's your classroom. It's where you learn to trust. It's where you learn to let go. It's where you discover strength you didn't know you had. Faith doesn't promise a life without challenges. Faith promises a life where challenges do not define you. When you step into the unknown, you're going to face obstacles, but those obstacles are not signs that you've failed. They're confirmations that you're on the right path. If there were no resistance, there would be no need for faith. Resistance is proof that you're moving forward. Resistance is proof that you're not staying stuck. Resistance is proof that the unknown has something worth fighting for. And here's the truth. When you take the first step, you'll often find that what you feared wasn't as powerful as you thought. Fear magnifies the unknown. It paints shadows bigger than reality. But the moment you move, the shadow shrinks. The moment you take the step, clarity begins to come. You may not have all the answers, but you'll have the next step. And faith doesn't require all the steps, just the next one. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until everything makes sense. Stop waiting until you feel completely ready, because you'll never feel fully ready. Faith is about moving when you don't feel ready, trusting that readiness comes in motion, not before it. The unknown becomes known only when you walk into it, and once you do, you'll look back and realize that the place that once terrified you became the place that transformed you. Faith also means believing that the unknown can hold something better than the known. Too often we cling to what we know simply because it's familiar, even if it's toxic, even if it's limiting, even if it's keeping us from growth. We fear the unknown so much that we chain ourselves to the known, but faith says let go. Faith says trust that the next chapter will be better than the last. Faith says what you're walking into is greater than what you're leaving behind. And it is. The unknown is where miracles happen. The unknown is where doors you didn't expect begin to open. The unknown is where opportunities you never imagined begin to unfold. The unknown is where growth takes root. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also necessary, because nothing great grows in the soil of certainty. It's the soil of uncertainty, of risk, of faith, that produces the harvest of greatness. So if you're standing on the edge right now, staring at the unknown, don't shrink back. Don't retreat into safety. Don't convince yourself that staying where you are is easier, because staying stuck will cost you more than stepping forward ever will. Safety is expensive. It costs you your purpose. Comfort is costly. It robs you of your destiny. But faith pays back with abundance. Faith rewards you with fulfillment. Faith carries you to places you never thought you could go. Look at your life. Look at the times when you dared to take a chance, to step forward even when you were afraid. Didn't those moments change you? Didn't those risks stretch you, teach you, grow you? Imagine if you hadn't taken them, how much smaller your world would be, how much smaller your vision would be, how much smaller your life would feel. And if that's true of the risks you've taken in the past, how much more will it be true of the risks you take today? Faith is not easy. It never was meant to be easy, but it is powerful. It is life-changing. It is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. And that bridge is never built on certainty. It's built on trust. You won't always know where the path will lead, but you can trust who is leading you. You won't always understand the process, but you can trust the one who holds the outcome. So step out. Step into the unknown. Step into the place where your comfort ends and your calling begins. Don't be afraid of the shadows. They only mean there's light nearby. Don't be afraid of the silence. It only means something is stirring behind the scenes. Don't be afraid of the questions. They only mean that answers are on the way. You don't have to see the whole picture right now. You don't have to know every detail. You don't have to control every outcome. All you need is the courage to take the next step, because faith isn't about certainty. It's about trust. And when you choose trust, when you choose faith, when you choose to step into the unknown, you position yourself for the more that was always waiting for you. Do you want me to continue expanding the third keynote now in the same style? Or should I pause here so you can review before we move forward? Preparation is the silent work that nobody sees, but everybody eventually notices. Too often people want blessings, they want promotion, they want success, but they are unwilling to prepare themselves for it. They pray for the door to open, but they don't sharpen their skills. They don't strengthen their character. They don't discipline their habits. And because they are not prepared, when the blessing shows up, they're not ready to handle it. Preparation is not glamorous. Preparation is lonely, it's quiet, it's often hidden. But preparation is what positions you to carry the weight of what you're asking for. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you rise to the level of your preparation. Think about it. A seed planted in the soil doesn't bloom overnight. It spends time underground, hidden, unseen, stretching roots before it ever shows fruit. If the roots are shallow, the plant will wither at the first sign of heat or storm. But when the roots run deep, the tree can withstand pressure. That's preparation. Your hidden seasons, your unnoticed efforts, your daily discipline, those are the roots that prepare you for when the spotlight finally comes. Too many want the stage without the roots. Too many want the victory without the training. But you cannot skip preparation. If you skip preparation, the blessing can crush you instead of elevate you. Preparation is what turns opportunities into destiny. Without preparation, opportunity is wasted. The truth is, opportunities don't wait for you to get ready. They show up, and if you're not prepared, they pass you by. That's why preparation matters so deeply. You don't prepare when the door opens, you prepare before it opens. You don't prepare when the rain falls, you prepare in the drought. You don't prepare when the battle starts, you prepare in the quiet of training. Because by the time the moment arrives, it's too late to scramble. You either did the work in the dark or you didn't, and the light will reveal it. Many people ask for more, but more is heavy. More responsibility, more blessing, more favor. It all requires more strength, more wisdom, more discipline. If you're not prepared, the very thing you prayed for can feel like a burden instead of a blessing. Preparation builds your capacity. It stretches you so that when increase comes, you can hold it without breaking. Think of a vessel. If you pour too much into a container that hasn't been stretched or shaped to handle it, it will crack. But if the vessel has been formed, refined, stretched in fire, it can hold abundance without spilling. That's what preparation does for you. It forms you into a vessel strong enough to carry the blessing. Preparation also builds character. Skills can get you in the room, but character keeps you there. If your preparation has only been about appearance, about surface level readiness, you may impress people for a moment, but you won't last. True preparation works on the inside. It's about patience, humility, discipline, resilience. It's about being faithful in small things so you can be trusted with bigger ones. It's about handling rejection without bitterness, handling success without arrogance, handling pressure without collapse. Preparation shapes your character so that when blessings come, you remain steady, grounded, and wise. Don't despise the seasons of preparation. Don't curse the days that feel small, the jobs that feel unnoticed, the tasks that feel beneath you. Those are your training grounds, the same way an athlete spends hours in practice before the game. Your preparation seasons are your practice. Nobody claps for practice. Nobody gives awards for drills. But without them, you cannot perform when it counts. Too many people want the championship without the practice, the applause without the grind. But preparation is the grind, and if you learn to embrace it, it will set you apart. Preparation also requires sacrifice. You can't prepare for greatness and live like everyone else. You can't waste your time, waste your energy, waste your potential, and expect to rise to another level. Preparation means saying no to distractions, so you can say yes to discipline. It means waking up earlier, staying focused longer, doing the work nobody else wants to do. And when people ask you, why are you working so hard when nobody sees, you'll answer, because one day the moment will come, and when it does, I'll be ready. Preparation is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Understand this. Preparation is proof of expectation. If you truly believe more is coming, you prepare for it. If you truly believe the door will open, you get yourself ready to walk through it. If you truly believe increase is on the way, you enlarge your capacity to receive it. Preparation shows that you're serious, that you're not just wishing. You're working, you're positioning, you're aligning yourself with what you're believing for. Faith without works is empty. Preparation is faith in action. It's saying, I believe so strongly in what's coming that I'm getting ready for it before I see it. Look at your life right now. If the opportunity you've been praying for showed up tomorrow, would you be ready? If the relationship you've been asking for appeared, would you have the maturity to sustain it? If the promotion came, would you have the discipline to handle the workload? If the platform opened, would you have the humility to carry the influence? That's what preparation forces you to ask. Blessings without preparation often become burdens, but blessings with preparation become breakthroughs. And preparation never goes to waste. Even when you feel like nobody notices, even when you feel like the work is hidden, even when you feel like it's not leading anywhere, trust that nothing is wasted. Every skill you sharpen, every habit you build, every lesson you learn is equipping you for something greater. You may not see how it connects right now, but one day the dots will align and you'll realize that everything you went through, everything you practiced, everything you endured was preparing you for the very moment you're in. There's also a difference between waiting and preparing. Some people think they're waiting on God, but in reality, God is waiting on them. Waiting is passive, preparing is active. Waiting says, I'll just sit here until something happens. Preparing says, I'll get myself ready so that when it happens, I won't miss it. Don't just wait, prepare. Don't just wish, work. Don't just hope. Discipline yourself. Because the truth is, when the moment arrives, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall to the level of your preparation. Preparation may feel lonely. It may feel like nobody cares. It may feel like you're doing all this work for nothing. But keep going, because one day the door will open, and you will walk through with confidence, not panic. One day the opportunity will knock, and you will answer with strength, not fear. One day the blessing will arrive, and you'll carry it with grace, not collapse under its weight. All because you prepared. Don't wait until tomorrow to prepare for what you want today. Start now. Start small. Start with what's in your hand. Preparation doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as being consistent. Sometimes it's being faithful with the little. Sometimes it's doing the job nobody else wants and doing it well. Because excellence in the small prepares you for excellence in the big. Your preparation is your investment into your future. Every hour, every effort, every sacrifice is a seed planted into your destiny. And seeds don't grow overnight. But when they grow, they produce a harvest far beyond the sacrifice it took to plant them. That's the promise of preparation. You will reap what you sow. And if you sow faithfulness, if you sow discipline, if you sow persistence, the harvest will be blessings you can actually sustain. So embrace the grind, embrace the quiet, embrace the hidden seasons where nobody is clapping, nobody is watching, Nobody is celebrating. Because those are the very seasons that shape you. Preparation may not feel like glory, but it is the path to glory. It may not feel like success, but it's building the foundation for success. It may not feel like a blessing, but it is making you ready to carry blessings. And when the day comes, and it will come, you'll step into that moment with confidence, not confusion. You'll look back and realize that every long night, every hard choice, every quiet sacrifice was worth it. Preparation positioned you for blessings bigger than you could ever imagine. Gratitude is one of the most underestimated forces in life. People chase after success, they run after wealth, they pray for blessings, but they forget that gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to more. Gratitude is not just saying thank you when something good happens. Gratitude is a posture of the heart, a mindset that refuses to focus on what is missing and instead magnifies what is present. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It teaches you to see abundance where others only see lack. And when you live with gratitude, you open yourself up for greater blessings because what you appreciate expands. Too many people are stuck not because they don't have enough, but because they don't value what they already have. They spend so much time complaining about what's not working that they fail to see what is working. They are so focused on the closed doors that they miss the open ones. They are so consumed by the prayers that haven't been answered yet that they overlook the ones that already have. Gratitude changes that. Gratitude takes your eyes off of the missing pieces and puts them on the miracles already around you. And the moment you shift your perspective, you realize you're not as empty as you thought. You're already blessed beyond measure. Gratitude doesn't just change how you see your life. It changes how you live your life. When you're grateful, you stop living with bitterness. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop chasing validation. Gratitude grounds you. It reminds you that what you have is enough for today, and what you need for tomorrow will come when it's time. Gratitude produces peace, and peace produces clarity, and clarity positions you for more. Without gratitude, blessings can feel like burdens. With gratitude, even the smallest things feel like miracles. Think about this. If you give someone a gift and they throw it aside without appreciation, would you feel like giving them more? Probably not, but if they value it, cherish it, use it, and express their thanks, it makes you want to give them more. The same principle applies with life. When you show gratitude for the small, you open the door for the greater. When you're faithful with little, you are trusted with much. Gratitude proves that you can handle increase because it shows you won't take it for granted. Gratitude also transforms hardships. You may not be thankful for the pain, but you can be thankful in the pain. You can be thankful for the lessons, for the strength it builds, for the resilience it forms. Gratitude doesn't deny reality, it redefines it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" gratitude asks, "What is this teaching me?" And when you shift the question, you shift the power. The very thing that was meant to break you becomes the thing that builds you, simply because you chose gratitude. And here's the truth. Gratitude is contagious. When you live with a grateful heart, it inspires others. It changes the atmosphere around you. People who complain spread negativity, but people who are grateful spread light. Gratitude lifts the spirit, softens the heart, and creates an environment where blessings can flourish. It's not just about you. It's about everyone connected to you. Your gratitude can change your home, your workplace, your relationships, because it shifts the energy you carry. Gratitude also protects you from greed. When you're not grateful, you'll always feel like you need more to be happy. No matter what you achieve, it will never be enough. You'll chase endlessly, striving for satisfaction that never comes. But gratitude breaks that cycle. Gratitude says, I already have more than I deserve. Gratitude says, even if nothing else changes, I am blessed. And ironically, when you reach that point, when you're no longer desperate for more, that's when more comes. Because gratitude unlocks increase. Gratitude says you are ready to handle abundance without being enslaved to it. Sometimes the reason people don't see progress is because they're despising the small beginnings. They overlook the little victories because they're waiting for the big breakthrough. But every great story begins with small chapters. Every great dream begins with small steps. And if you don't learn to be grateful for the small, you won't be prepared for the big. Gratitude celebrates every win, no matter how small. Gratitude says, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be, and that's worth celebrating. That kind of mindset attracts momentum. That kind of mindset builds endurance. That kind of mindset opens the way for greater things. Gratitude is also tied to humility. To be grateful is to recognize that you didn't do it all on your own, that life is not just the result of your effort, but also of grace, of opportunities, of help, of favor. Gratitude keeps you humble because it reminds you that every breath is a gift, every day is a chance, every moment is precious. And humility keeps you open. When you think you've earned everything, you close yourself off to more. But when you live with gratitude, you acknowledge that every blessing is undeserved, and that makes you a magnet for even more. Make no mistake, gratitude is a choice. It doesn't happen automatically. It's easy to complain, easy to compare, easy to focus on what's missing. Gratitude takes discipline. Gratitude takes intention. Gratitude means waking up in the morning and choosing to count your blessings instead of your problems. Gratitude means ending your day not with frustration over what went wrong, but with thanks for what went right. Gratitude is not about ignoring reality. It's about framing it differently, and that frame makes all the difference. When you live with gratitude, you carry joy even in struggle. You carry peace even in uncertainty. You carry hope even in disappointment. And that kind of resilience attracts more. It attracts people. It attracts opportunities. It attracts favor. Gratitude is like a magnet. The more you express it, the more reasons you find to keep expressing it. Gratitude is also preparation for increase. If you cannot appreciate the little you have now, what makes you think you'll appreciate the more you're asking for? Gratitude is the training ground for abundance. It teaches you to steward what you already have. It teaches you responsibility, contentment, faithfulness. And when you've proven that you can value the small, you show that you're ready for the big. The door to more doesn't open through entitlement. It opens through gratitude. So take a moment and look at your life. Look at your health, your family, your friends, the opportunities you've had, the lessons you've learned, even the struggles you've survived. You are still here. You are still breathing. You have overcome battles that should have destroyed you. You have made it through nights you thought you wouldn't survive. You have been carried through storms you thought would drown you. How can you not be grateful? Gratitude doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you recognize that even in imperfection, there is blessing. Gratitude unlocks perspective. Gratitude unlocks joy. Gratitude unlocks strength. But most of all, gratitude unlocks the door to more. The more you give thanks, the more you receive. The more you celebrate, the more there is to celebrate. The more you value, the more value is added to your life. Gratitude is not just a reaction, it's a lifestyle. And when you choose to live in gratitude, you walk through doors you never imagined possible. So stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you give thanks. Stop waiting until you have more to be grateful. Be grateful now with what you have where you are, because the key to more is not in the future. It's in your attitude today. Gratitude is the master key. And when you use it, you will discover doors opening, opportunities unfolding, blessings multiplying. Gratitude unlocks the door to more, always has, always will.